Welcome back to Stylist to a T Live. I'm Michael, where we tell you what to wear, how to wear it, and where to buy it. And I have the honor and privilege to be able to interview Brooke Jaffe, who's a long-term veteran in the fashion industry, who I've admired in my career because who didn't want to be in Bloomingdales where you came from? So let's start with Bloomingdales and let's hear about your career and how did you get into this crazy business that we're all in?
So it's interesting. I grew up in a house with a mom who loved beautiful things, and my mom happened to be a buyer back in the day, way before she had me, for a store in Washington, D.C. called the Head Company. And then my mother actually became an interior designer, designs her own furniture, and I just watched my mother kind of always have this eye for the beautiful. We would window shop, we would kind of competitive shop on the weekends as a child, and I just had an appreciation for everything that my mother kind of showed me.
So as you mentioned to me, Brooke mentioned she went to University of Pennsylvania, not so bad. What did you major in and what brought you to fashion?
So it's interesting. So I love words and I love speaking and communicating and actually performing. So I double majored in English and theater arts.
Wow.
I was very involved in the performance community at Penn. I was in an improv group. I was in the plays, sometimes did behind the scenes stuff, including costumes, lighting, all of that stuff. And it's been an interesting thing to bring to my now fashion career because a lot of fashion is communicating what those big ideas are.
Totally.
So it's kind of all come full circle. But the way I got into it was I went to Penn, and when I graduated, Penn is a school, love Penn, but it's very focused on finance. And I was trying to figure out how can I break into writing and sort of more creative fields. And one day on the beach in Nantucket, I happened to be reading Vogue magazine, and I saw in the masthead that a girl from my sorority was Anna Wintour's assistant.
Wow.
I decided to dial 411.
411. Do we all remember 411?
This is a real story, everybody. And I called her and I said, "You may not remember me. I remember you. I see that you're Anna Wintour's assistant at Vogue. If there are any opportunities, please call me." Okay.
To go to Vogue.
To go to Vogue. This is in 2001, everybody. And she called me, and it was the biggest shock of my life that this woman actually called me back, and she said, "I remember two things about you. One, I remember the hot pink dress you wore to our formal, and everyone else was in black.
Love that.
Two," she said, "I remember you are always very nice." And the only reason I'm saying that is for anybody watching here, you never know who's gonna go where in life, and you just never know the opportunities that will come. And so
everything's a relationship.
Everything's a relationship. And so I guess being nice really worked out for me because I ended up getting an interview with with a woman named Michelle Kessler Sanders, who is the accessories director of the magazine, and she and I just hit it off. It was like we were meant to meet. She was really just very cool, stylish, but at the end of the day, what we clicked the most on was, in addition to fashion, we had so many interests in the world, in pop culture, theater, art,
So tell
food.
me, what are some of your interests?
So
beyond fashion.
I'm interested in anything that's not mundane. I like entertainment. I like to laugh. I like the finer things in life, and I'm not ashamed to say it. So
who doesn't?
I like to balance my life, and I'm also I do like to work. So I've been a really hard worker, but I like to enjoy whether it's a great glass of wine or dinner with my friends who make me smile, and most importantly, my family, who has just been, I always say I'm really lucky because I have fun parents. Like, they're just fun to hang out with, and my sister Alex, who I can't imagine life without. So it's just all about enjoying things, and the reason I live in New York City is really because it's a place I can take advantage of all of the things I love, particularly going to the theater, which is still one of my biggest passions.
Well, tell me, from Bloomingdales,
Yes.
you were the fashion director.
I was. So after Vogue, I went to InStyle magazine, was there for 3.5 years. I was very lucky. I worked for Hal Rubenstein, who's kind of a legend in the industry. And I will say, everybody, part of what's kept me going in my career, I've always worked with funny people. kind of the medicine that gets you
Yeah.
through everything.
It's all about who you work with.
All about
I
who you
realize
work
that
with.
because you wake up every day and you have to be around these people, so you might as well love what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I work with Hal Runstein, Cindy Weber-Cleary, legends, and a woman named Alice Kim, who is the legendary accessories director of InStyle, whose nail polish was Louis Vuitton monogrammed. I can't make this up.
No way.
Louis Vuitton monogrammed nail polish. She was doing nail art before anyone knew the term nail art. And then
She's kind of genius because monogram does go with everything.
It does, and yeah, exactly. I was going to say,
Right?
The LV print is kind of a neutral.
It's definitely a neutral.
Right.
I mean, Alex thinks ballet slipper is the neutral, but I think monogram nail polish might be the neutral.
I know. So I've never had long enough nail beds to make that happen for myself, but I really admire her. And then I went to Vogue, to Bloomingdales, which that is another story. And if you want me to tell you the story,
Well, I kind of want to understand how you went from editorial
Yes.
and working in the magazine world to then going into retail and one of
know.
the biggest retailers in the country.
So this may
And
be-
actually even in the world at this point.
This may not be the right answer to the question. So I didn't have a vision in my head that was where my career was going. In fact, I loved InStyle. I happened to be pulling jewelry for a page that I used to curate called Cheap Chic. And it was a page where everything on the page had to retail for under $100. And this was in 2005 or 4, let's just say.
Getting in perfect timing for the recession.
Exactly. So I was in a showroom called the Robert Rose showroom, and a woman came up to me and she said, "I love the cocktail ring you're wearing. Where did you get it?" And I think it was Kenneth G. Lane or something like that.
A genius.
I know, may he rest in peace. And we struck up a conversation. She said, "Who do you work for at InStyle?" Long story short, she said, "I'm the fashion director of Bloomingdales." And I said, what does that mean? I had never heard of the title fashion director for a department store.
Isn't it funny? I feel like people are always asking, what does that title even friggin' mean?
Exactly. Well,
You know?
it means a lot.
I know.
And at the time,
I'm not even just fashion
Yeah.
director, any title in general. It's like, give me the specifics. Help me
Right.
understand. So let's explain to our following what that means.
Absolutely. It can be sort of a weird macro title for an area that isn't as easily defined. But what you are doing is you're determining trends that your customer base is going to want.
Or appreciate.
So for Bloomingdales, we always had certain keywords or an idea in mind. It wasn't an age, it was really an attitude, because there were customers at Bloomingdales from age 13 to 89.
So give me some of the words.
So whether it was flirty or playful, feminine was always at the core of what we did.
Was there a top color that was the Bloomingdale's girl?
So leopard print? Is that a color?
No, but it's funny you say this because for those of you guys that don't know, I am the vice president of sales also at Coffin Franco, so I know the Neiman Marcus language, and their colors pink and leopard.
Yeah, so
Would you say
leopard.
that's Bloomingdale's?
Yeah, I would say that leopard always sells, and pink, shades of pink have been trending for a few years. Whether from blush to hot, and red. I mean, red symbolizes so many things to women, and even in hard times, red lipstick is always a bestseller. It's really interesting what red can do for the spirits.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I would tell you retail. Purple is not a friendly retail color, everybody.
That's very interesting.
So it's kind of fascinating, but as you know, of course, colors ebb and flow. But the ones that we've sort of mentioned are kind of tried and true.
Wait, I want to kind of go back to purple not being the color. No, because we always are looking at the magazines every September and we're seeing jewel tones. And when I think jewel tones, I think purple, sapphire, ruby, emerald.
Yes.
Should we just cross purple out if we're in retail?
What's sort of fascinating is certain parts of the country, there are different symbolic meanings to the color purple. Purple, is a very regal, opulent color, but for whatever reason in the jewel tone family, I'd stick to the sapphires, the Bordeauxs, and even the emeralds, and I'd skip the purple.
Okay. So let's go. So you were at Bloomingdale's for how many years?
So I was at Bloomingdale's for 10 years, a decade, everybody.
A decade.
A decade.
Wow.
And I was hired as the fashion director of handbags, shoes, accessories, and jewelry. And that even included the hosiery and intimate apparel department.
So what was the day-to-day?
So day-to-day is the following. You are working with a team of buyers. Usually there's about 18 or to 20 per area. And they each have their designated responsibilities. There's denim buyers, there's coat buyers, there's designer designer buyers, there's contemporary buyers. And the fashion director is responsible for shaping the season and saying, these are the things in the sea of trends that exist. These are the ones that not only we think resonate with the Bloomingdale's customer, but also we think will be good to our bottom line. I mean, at the end of the day, as a fashion director, you're accountable for that sales. It's not just a job where you say, you know, abracadabra, everybody get feathers in the store.
Exactly.
You really have to make sure that the things that you tell the buyers to buy with conviction are meaningful to the bottom line of the store. So it's a job with a lot of responsibility. You work with the PR team to come up with campaigns to help drive those sales you believe in. And then you're basically, as a fashion director, considered the eyes and ears of the company. You're looking for new brands, new talent, new partnerships, new things to bring life to retail. And as we live in a world where more brands become everywhere,
exactly,
online, it becomes even more important to find unique places in the market to stand out as a store.
So since we're on that topic, we live in a crazy time with the internet and technology, and people able to highlight on their screen a brand and a description and go find it anywhere, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
So if you were still the fashion director at Bloomingdale's, with these challenges, what would you be doing different today? What would you recommend to the internal and also the external, being the customer?
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple, things that stores are focusing on today.
I feel like I could talk to you forever because it's so fascinating.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I've got a lot of information, but I love what I do. And, so one of the things you'll probably notice when you shop, that there's this rise of exclusive merchandise with every brand. And I think exclusivity and having things made specifically for,
do you think that's that important today?
So
because I feel like I'm seeing exclusive everywhere.
So what I think has now happened is, unfortunately, even that has become diluted.
Right.
I think when stores like Barney's is a store that really does pioneer wonderful new concepts. I think they really get a little extra credit for kind of starting that exclusive. I do still get excited by the concept of mashups. Mm-hmm. So when two solid brands unite for purpose, when these things are done for the sake of, they're not compelling.
Right.
But when it feels like, whether it's a print house that fuses with a brand that's known for print, so that could be something exciting, or a
like
brand.
Supreme for Louis Vuitton.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, who doesn't love Supreme right now? Even I, who, I might not strike you as a Supreme customer. And again, I'm dating myself. I used to have to pull things from Supreme for photo shoots at Vogue, where we would have like skateboard influence, like back in the day. This brand is not new. This is a brand that has been around for the indies.
Millennials might not know that, but that brand has existed.
Totally, and I find it fascinating, some of the brands that have been around a long time just being authentic to their brand. They're killing it now, because what millennials, and I don't want to speak for you millennials, and I think even somebody like me who's a really seasoned shopper, we want authentic. We want to feel like, whether it's opening price point or it's expensive, that their brand has its own DNA.
Tell me where you are today.
Okay.
Tell Stylist to a T following what Brooke Jaffe's up to today.
So I'm up to a few different things. I am the fashion director of a very cool startup called Fits. And Fits is an in-home service where we send stylists to your house, and a lot of women really struggle with this idea of, when is it time to let go of these things I know I'm never wearing again, and really make space for the new? And sometimes it takes a little bit of encouragement, and sometimes it's not a job mom can do with
so
you.
ladies, stop hoarding.
So, but yeah, and we live in a world where there's a lot of opportunities to sell things that you no longer want at all price points. It doesn't have to be Gucci. You can get rid of things that you might not realize you can get rid of. And I think that it's been both an interesting learning in the psychology of shopping. People really feel cleansed and reborn when they clean their closet. Mm-hmm. It really, gives you an appetite to buy some new things. Mm-hmm. And then once that process has been completed, we offer several services, whether it's helping you pack for a trip, helping you style.
So we need a little stylist to a T brought in.
Yeah, exactly. We do need stylists to a T brought in, absolutely. And it's been wonderful. And then, I've got some interesting things in the works in startup land.
Are you guys placing any product in these people's closets?
So we make recommendations for things that we feel the customer should own, or we really let the customer guide us in terms of where are the voids they want to fill.
I'd love to help them fill that void.
Yeah, I mean there are certainly opportunities
that could be very
to explore
interesting.
that. Yeah, so
because we're getting those kind of questions every day. What should I get rid of? What should I be buying? What's the trend of the season? What's my investment piece? I need a dress for a wedding. It could be a great collaboration together.
Absolutely. And there's just, it's what has been so fascinating about this whole experience for me is just everyone wants to look good. And there's so many opportunities, even going to the gym, as silly as it sounds. There's a whole universe of product out there that didn't even exist 5-6 years ago.
Like Therese.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, people want cool, fun,
Totally.
athleisure items because it's part of their everyday life. I mean, when I go to other cities around the country, not even just New York, that's what people are in every day, throwing on a little Nora Moore jacket over it.
Absolutely. So the business is exciting and evolving, and that's what keeps me in it. And I just have really enjoyed being part of a startup in this experience.
So I'm curious, as a fashion director, obviously you were analyzing trends and telling all of your 18 buyers what to be buying and yabba dabba do, as we know. What are you doing at Fits?
So
as the fashion
so
director?
we have a team of stylists, a pretty sizable one. So similarly educating not only on the trends of the season, because we want to have a pretty uniform experience in that whatever pair of stylists come to your door, you're going to have expert advice. So we really want to educate, and that's really my job, is to make sure that the stylists are equipped with a sort of uniform message. They know the key pieces, and it even comes down to things like, I want them to know what fits the best. I've had a lot of experience with different brands.
Don't you feel fits everything? I mean, I used to be the guy that thought designer clothing meant fit.
Yes.
And everyone knows this on Stylist OT, I will only wear a Bonobo shirt today because you get your neck, you get your sleeve length, and you get no wrinkles.
Right.
So
that's
looking polished is the whole kit and caboodle, and it's all how you put it together.
It's how you put it together, and it's a lot of knowing the brands. And so even it's just down to, what's the best look of rigid denim? You can if you can't pull off the rigid denim trend, which for those of you who don't know what rigid denim, it's kind of this whole mom jean, these stiffer jeans, and there's certain brands that get a lot of credit for it, but some people just can't wear that trend. It's hard. So one of the things I like to talk about is, how do you get that look with someone who's putting some stretch in the jean? Things like that.
I like a little stretch in the jean.
Yeah.
So who are you, what kind of brands, how are you guiding them to the brands?
So one exercise that we do is we go visit the stores, and we'll actually go and I will sort of talk through the different brands and pull bestsellers, things that have sort of historically.
Is there a key store you're going to?
All.
So not just Bloomingdales.
So Fits has many partners.
Okay.
Which is wonderful, so that are part of our affiliate program. So
are you saying, let's sell this top to our clients? This is the perfect velvet t-shirt of the season?
Yes, but just to be clear, it's all authentically driven. We have 400 partners.
Wow.
So it's nothing's being said, please help us sell this. It's an authentic
of course,
voice
you have
of,
to believe.
We believe. And so something that I have the luxury of doing is culling out my favorites and kind of drawing attention to those pieces, because after a Fits appointment, we will generate recommendations. And those things are sometimes guided by some of my recommendations.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, so Stylist to a T, we're not just going to be your 5-minute interview now. We're going to be the new Oprah show for fashion. What do we think?
Well, the problem is I could just talk all day.
I think that's what's going on here between the two of us. So tell me I just want to know one more question.
Yes.
What's next for Fits? And how are you bringing in the clientele?
So we have a lot of interesting projects in the works at Fits. There is a digital component on both mobile app and web coming soon. This will be a service to help people style, not only in New York City. So Fits is a New York-based business right now, but the hope is that down the road, we're going to be able to virtually style people and solicit. For example, if you want to wear that crew neck sweater, you could send us a picture and we could send you back styling recommendations of how to wear it and guide you on how to purchase it. So we're really looking to expand this concept into something much larger, and with a digital focus, which was part of what got me so excited to
This isn't like
sort of
exciting me. It's like,
Yeah,
I feel like there's so much that we can help do for fits.
Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity in the digital space to bring this concept of styling, which I think has historically seemed really unattainable to most people in the world. You know, this idea of only celebrities have stylists,
Right.
and really democratizing this idea of personal styling.
Well, and that's how Stylist to a T actually started. You know, I style celebrities for a living, and people are always coming to me for advice, like, Michael and Alex, I
Yeah.
love your style. What's the trends of the season? What should I
Yeah.
be buying? And I was like, why shouldn't all of you get the same experience that all the celebrities get?
Absolutely.
Because you can, even on a budget, still be stylish.
Absolutely, more so now than ever before.
There's so much out there.
Yeah.
So anyways, Brooke, thank you so much.
Thank you for
today.
having me. This is
And
such a treat.
thank you for following at stylisttoat.com.